అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. నమో నమః. గురుభ్యో నమః. Today is a good day. We are going to start with a new topic, Darshnas. So far, during last 1.5, almost more than 1 month, we have completed basics of Sanskritam language, Vedas, Vedangas, and Upanishads. Now we are on Darshnas. Let us start the session with reciting Vande Mataram by Chala Chitti Prabhu garu and chanting Prarthana by Jayasri garu. Chala Chitti Prabhu.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujala Sufala Malaya Jasitala Sasya Syamala Mataram Vande Mataram Subrajyosna Pulakitayamini Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram. ధన్యవాదములండి చాలా చిట్టి బాబు గారు. Let us request Jayasri garu to chant Prarthana, please.
Close your eyes, sit straight, meditation for 1 minute. Three times Omkaram. गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती दीनामवित्र्यवतो। ॐ श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः। गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरुवे। न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मां पाहि गुरो। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानां आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः
ధన్యవాదములండి జయశ్రీ గారు.
ధన్యవాదాలు సార్
Thank you very much. Now, let us request CSR Prabhu garu to start the webinar, please.
Om. Om. Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya-kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhya Sarvopaplavarahita-prajnana-ghana-pratyagardho Sohamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Well, friends, we have seen the Upanishads contents on the ultimate reality in terms of the Vedanta Darshana. The knowledge of the entire Vedas can be perceived in different perspectives, and each perspective is known as a Darshana. The word Darshana means perspective or visualization or vision. In Hindi language, the word Darshana means philosophy. So the Vedic knowledge, which is infinite, Ananta hi Veda, all subjects are covered. All knowledge was accumulated into the Vedic text as a Vedic model of knowledge representation and knowledge management. So in those perspectives, we have two categories, the theistic and atheistic, Astika and Nastika. All darshanas belong to India, and among the Indian darshanas, we have the Astika and Nastika. Nastika are the Charvaka, Lokayata, Bauddha, Jaina. They don't accept the existence of Ishvara or God. Please don't put any messages, concentrate on the lecture. The Nastika darshanas, Charvaka, Lokayata, or the Buddha and Jaina, they do not accept the Ishvara, and they also do not accept the authority of the Vedas. The remaining 6 darshanas are Astika darshanas. They accept the authority of the Vedas and they accept the existence of Ishvara. That is, the first of the 6 is Sankhya, second is Yoga, third is Nyaya, fourth is Vaiseshika, fifth is Purvamimamsa, and sixth is Uttaramimamsa, also known as Veda. So all these six are in some kind of time sequence in terms of the authors of the sutra. The darshana is a philosophical perspective of a particular characteristic, like yoga darshana is a philosophical perspective from the psychological perspective, and nyaya darshana is a perspective from a logical approach, and vaisheshika darshana is physics, it's physical perspective, and mimamsa darshana is karmakanda, purva mimamsa, it's called karmakanda, and the fifth is called jnanakanda or uttara mimamsa, also known as Vedanta. We have already delved deep into a few Upanishads, and the Upanishads are dealing with the Jnanakanda of the Vedas, which is the nothing but the Vedanta Darshana. So we have already covered Vedanta Darshana. So by now you know what is Vedanta, because Upanishads are the core sources of knowledge of Vedanta. So we will not touch Vedanta Darshana except to say that the Vedanta Darshana comprises of primarily three components, what are called Prasthanatrayas. That is the Upanishads, 108 Upanishads are available. The Jnanakanda of the Vedas is called Upanishads, also known as Vedanta, Vedanta Darshana. And the second is Brahma Sutras, which is the summary and substance, scholarly, polemic summarization of the contents of the Upanishads by Badarayana, who is Vyasa. The third is Bhagavad Gita, which is the summary presented in an appealing and popular manner. Summary of the same Upanishads contents. So these three, the Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and Bhagavad Gita, are known as Prasthanatrayi. And Acharyas like Shankaracharya and even many other Acharyas after Shankaracharya wrote commentaries to all the three, Prasthanatrayi Bhashyam, and gave their own perspective of understanding of these three texts, vast texts. Of course, they focused only on 10 Upanishads, not all the 108. They are called the principal Upanishads. But it doesn't mean other Upanishads are less. So that is about the Vedanta Darshana. We will be covering Bhagavad Gita also, but we will not cover Brahma Sutras. It's too high standard for this course, and it is not necessarily required for this course. So we will not touch Vedanta Darshana, which is the last. We have already seen Vedanta Darshana in the Isha Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad. So it basically deals with Brahman as the ultimate source of all creation, sustenance, and dissolution of the universe. Before Vedanta Darshana, we have the Mimamsa Darshana, which again we will not be covering much because it is beyond the scope of this course. The Mimamsa Darshana is based upon the Mimamsa Sutras authored by Jaimini. Jaimini is also a disciple of Vyasa. Vyasa edited the vast body of the Vedic text into 4 parts, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, and Atharvaveda. And he taught 4 Vedas to 4 of his disciples, Paila, Jaimini, Vaishampayana, and Sumanta. So Vaishampayana learned Samveda. So, Jaimini is Samveda, and same Jaimini also wrote the Mimamsa Sutras, which are based on the Karmakanda part of the Vedas, various yajnas, yagas, how to be performed, what is the benefit. So all that has been dealt at length in the Vedic Samhita itself and Brahmana Granthas, which are like lab manuals on how to perform which yajna, who will do what, at what time, and what sequence. So the Mimamsa Sutras are the Karmakanda based analysis of the Vedic dharma in terms of the yajna, yaga, kind, kratu, details, vidhi, and also the philosophy behind that. It also deals with the analytical approaches of some of the pramanas. I am coming from the backside. That is, I touched upon Vedanta Darshana, I touched upon Mimamsa Darshana. Now I will come to Nyaya Vaisheshika, or before that, let us start from Sankhya and Yoga. Yoga Darshana, we will be covering in detail for 1 month, theoretical classes as well as practical classes. Among all the 6, Yoga Darshana is the only one which is entirely practical. Of course, Mimamsa Darshana is also partly practical. The rest are theoretical. The Sankhya Darshana, let us touch upon Sankhya Darshana today. The word Sankhya comes from Sankhya, number. So in the Sankhya Darshana, the entire world, nature, Jagat is classified into 24 total number of components, the last being Purusha. So the Panchabhutas, the Pancha-Indriyas, Pancha-Tanmatras, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta. Total 19 plus 524. So the Sankhya Darshana is based on the Sankhya Sutras authored by Kapila Muni. Kapila Muni is much previous to all other authors like Vyasa and Jaimini and so on. He is one of the oldest Munis. Kapila Muni is very famous. He delivered the discourse to his own mother Devahuti, very famous discourse which is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam also. So Kapila Muni, Kapil, we call Kapila Muni has delivered the Sankhya Sutras. So the basic philosophy of nature and man, Prakriti and Purusha. The man in word Purusha is not an ordinary human being like you and me. We're talking of an entity which is distinct from Prakriti, but which is the support of Prakriti. So he explains in the Bhagavad Gita, which is again a Sankhya text, though it is summary of the Upanishads. The Sankhya philosophy is brought out in a very strong manner in the Bhagavad Gita. So Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan Karya Karana Kartritve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate Purusha Sukha Dukhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchyate. So this is the definition of Sankhya Darshana given in the Bhagavad Gita itself. So it says that Prakriti and Purusha are both unborn and undying, they are eternal. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan Karya Karana Kartritve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate Purusha Sukha Dukhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchyate. The Purusha or man is the feeler, thinker, enjoyer, observer. We have discussed about observer previously in physics. That observer consciousness and pure consciousness, Sakshi, is Purusha. He is also Anadi, no beginning, no end. And what is Prakriti? Nature, which is made up of gunas, 3 gunas. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratchaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarate. He told in the Gita, my Prakriti, that is, he is talking as Purusha. Prakriti is untranscendable. Duratyaya is made up of the 3 gunas. Devi Hesha Gunamayi. It's also Maya. So in Vedanta Darshana, Prakriti is known as Maya. In Sankhya Darshana, it is known as Prakriti. In somewhere else, in Shaiva Shakti Darshana, it is known as Shakti. And Purusha is known as Shiva. In Vaishnava Darshana, it is known as Lakshmi. And Purusha is known as Vishnu or Narayana. all mean the same thing. So Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikarans Chegurans Chaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhava. The Vikaras, there are 6 Vikaras. Nothing in this world remains fixed. There is a change continuously happening. Birth is the first Vikara, then growth, then maturity, then strengthening and decay and death. Totally 6 are there. Every object in this world will go through the 6 stages of transformism or transformation and change. And the 3 gunas, Sattva guna, Rajo guna and Tamo guna are also there, which are the basic qualities of the universe, whose equilibrium is the apparent universe. The universe which you see is the result of the mutually independent and opposing forces acting at the same time. Sattva guna, Rajo guna and Tamo guna. If any of the 3 is not there, the universe cannot exist, cannot function. It's a balance between the 3. There is a whole chapter on the 3 gunas in the Bhagavad Gita. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Sattvam Rajas Tama iti guna prakriti sambhava. Nibadhanti mahabahu dehe dehinam avyayam. In this body, the owner of this body, that is the self, is tied up, is bonded with the 3 gunas, known as Sattva, Rajas, Tama. Iti guna, Prakriti Sambhava, they are part of Prakriti, they are born on Prakriti. Prakriti comprises of these 3 gunas and the 6 vikaras, Shad Vikara, 3 guna. So, Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashakamanāmayam. Their Sattva guna is purity, light, strength, and perfection. Sukha Sangena, Jnana Sangena Baddha, Sukha Sangena, Jnana Sangena Chanaka. It binds you with the bondage of Sukha, pleasantness, happiness, and also Jnana, knowledge. Rajas Tvajnanajam Vidhi Mohanam Sarvadehina. Sorry. Rajoguna is the quality of action, motion. Tamas Tvajnanajam Vidhi Mohanam Sarvadehinam Pramadalasya Nidra Vistanivatma. Tamoguna is born out of ignorance. It ties you down, binds the Atman into the body. Tamas Tvajnanajam Vidhi Mohanam Sarvadehinam Pramada Alasya Avirati. Pramada Alasya Nidra. That is accident, error, laziness, and sleep. These 3 are the binding forces, characteristics of Tamoguna. Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sangha Samudbhavam. Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sangha Samudbhavam. Rajoguna is born out of Raga and it is based out of Trishna. It is like you're desperate for water. Thirst. Krishna Sangha, attachment. Right? It is comprising of Kama, Krodha and other qualities. Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sangha Karma Sangena Badnati. It ties you down with the bondage of action, all the time action. So you will see mostly Rajoguna is very strongly prevalent in the world. After, say, around 10 o'clock onwards or 9 o'clock onwards, there will be Rajoguna extensively prevalent till night, 10 or 11. Then Tamoguna will take over everyone, everything. So, morning when you wake up from Tamoguna, sleep, you take bath, perform Sandhya or meditation or whatever, you are in Sattva-guna state. So the more you are in Sattva-guna, the more happy you will be. and the more happy the universe, the society will be. So the purpose of all religious practices, all yogic practices is nothing but to inculcate and develop and promote sattva guna. What is Narayana? He is Suddha Sattva, beyond Sattva. He is absolute 100% Suddha Sattva. Whereas we are all combination of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So Prakriti, Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durachaya. So you don't be surprised that I am explaining Sankhya theory from Bhagavad Gita, because the Sankhya Sutras also tell the same thing in a more philosophical and less religious manner. The Purusha of Sankhya is not Ishvara. He is converted into Ishvara later in the Yoga Darshana. Yoga Darshana is supposed to be practical Sankhya, because Yoga Darshana accepts and is based upon theoretical framework of Sankhya only. Just like the theoretical framework of Ayurveda and Yoga is one and the same. That is the dosha theory. Similarly, here the theoretical framework of Yoga Darshana is same as the Sankhya Darshana, which is also same in the Ayurveda. So in Sankhya Darshana, the theoretical framework is the three gunas of the Prakriti and the Panchabhutas. Sankhya Darshana does not accept the existence of substances outside your mind or outside your body. It only refers to the perception of the universe as it arises inside the mind of the observer. And whatever arises inside the mind of observer is related to the five senses. These five senses or five sensory stimuli or signals are being interpreted as Panchabhutas. If you did not have five senses, then there will be no Panchabhutas. Only man has all the five senses fully developed. Animals have only some senses developed partly and completely. Some animals don't have all the five senses, they have only four. Like, for example, a snake cannot see, it can only hear. It has highly advanced auditory sense, but it doesn't have optic sense. So similarly, amoeba, it may not have any of the five senses. So man has all the five senses fully developed. Of course, many other animals also have. So the point I'm trying to make is the principle of bhuta or the panchabhutas is originating from the pancha indriyas. So as the universe is appearing to the pancha indriyas in the horizon of the mind, whatever arises in the mind is just the image of the universe outside your body and mind, and that mind is observing these panchabhutas through the panchendriyas. So the panchabhutas, panchendriyas, panchatanmatras, tanmatras are the subtle signals representing the panchabhutas inside the mind coming through the senses. And of course, we have the karmendriyas, pancha karmendriyas, pancha jnanendriyas. The karmendriyas are kept aside, only jnanendriyas are taken for the panchabhutas. So Ishvara is not referred, God, Ishvara is not referred or accepted in the Sankhya Darshana. It is why it is called Nirishvara Sankhya. Seshvara Sankhya is Yoga Darshana. Because in Yoga Darshana, while the Purusha Prakriti framework is maintained same as the Sankhya Darshana, the Ishvara is also defined, declared, and accepted in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So the Sankhya Sutras of Kapila start with addressing the basic human cause of motivation of life, why we should do what we should do. Trividha dukkha nivrittirachanta prushartha. The highest human effort, human endeavor should be to overcome three types of sorrows. The Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika, and Adi Bhautika are the physical sorrows relating to the body. And the Adi Devika are the natural sorrows relating to nature, like cyclone, earthquake, and so on. And the third kind, Jatmika sorrow, Raga Dveshas, Kama Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaryas, people are suffering. So those problems, dukkhas, trividha dukkhas, adhibhavika, adhidevika, and adhyatmika, the entire human civilization endeavor is to overcome these kind of sorrows or miseries. That's why he said trividha dukkha nivrittihi atyanta purushartha. The highest human effort is transcending, overcoming the three dukkhas, three categories of dukkha. This is the first sutra of Sankhya Darshana Sutras of Kapila Muni. So the analysis goes on and on. Many chapters exist. I'm not going to cover all that. It's a very big book. At the end of the Sankhya Sutras, Asangoyam Purushaha, that is the last sutra. So the Purusha, the feeler, thinker, enjoyer, self, Atma, Sakshi, observer, I, he is Asangaha. He is not attached necessarily or involved necessarily with Prakriti. That is the answer given. That is, the miseries or dukkhas are coming due to the contact of Purusha with Prakriti. When you start assuming I am Prakriti, I am involved with Prakriti, I am part of Prakriti, I am affected by Prakriti, then you will start suffering all these problems. Whereas the Purusha, the feeler, thinker, enjoyer, consciousness, is purely unaffected, is pure consciousness. So whatever miseries, whatever problems you are getting are only due to Prakriti. Karya, Karana, Kartrutva, Hetu, Prakriti. Apart from being the Trigunatmika and Shadvikaratmika, Prakriti is also the sole cause of Karya, Karana, Kartrutva. Yeah, all actions, all phenomena in the universe and their causes and the ownership of those causes. They are all in Prakriti, that is nature. Mother Nature, we call it. All these are there in addition to the Trigunas and the Shad Bhava Vikaras. So the Prakriti is everything. Known as Shakti, Maya, and so many names are there. Mother Goddess, nothing but Prakriti, nature. So the feeler, thinker, enjoyer, that is myself, the self, the Purusha is there separately. So the more the Purusha gets entangled or connected to Prakriti, the more he is going to suffer. So when the Purusha comes out of the contact of Prakriti, he is liberated. Asangoyam Purusha. Actually, he is already liberated. So moksha is already there for Purusha, who is already separate and therefore who is liberated. But due to the contact of Prakriti, he may feel as if he got this, he got that. So this is a overall summary. Now, what is very important to remember is that all darshanas are aiming at moksha. All six darshanas, or even the Nastik darshanas, Buddha, Jaina, Charvaka, they all aim at moksha, but they have their own narrative of their own theory or step-by-step procedure or perspective to reach moksha different. So the Sankhya perspective is just to realize and assert that you are Purusha and not Prakriti. Avyaya Sakshi Kshetrajno Akshara Evacha. Avyaya Purusha Sakshi Kshetrajno Akshara Evacha. So that emphasis is the key to liberation, moksha. Prakriti will be going on and on endlessly, Ananta, because it has no beginning, no end. Purusha also has no beginning, no end. The moment you realize and assert you are Purusha, all the rest is Prakriti. You are already living in the same state. Because you are originally also liberated. Even Purusha is always liberated. Same thing, parallel in Vedanta Darshana is Brahman and Maya. So Brahman is already liberated. But due to Maya, due to contact with Maya, Brahman is thinking he is Jiva. Ishvara is thinking he is Jiva due to contact with Maya. Because his thinking is Jiva, he is being affected by various miseries and dukkhas. So the discrimination, Viveka, Vairagya, which is explained in the Vedanta Darshana, will result in liberation. That is to assert your Brahmanhood. I am Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi. That is the Vedanta Darshana approach. But here in Sankhya Darshana, the same thing is being told in different framework. Purusha Prakriti frame. ये सब प्रकृति है. This is Prakriti. I am not Prakriti. I am not concerned. The moment you realize that, you are free. Because all your dukkhas, adi bhaudika, adhika, adhyatmika, are coming due to your identification with Prakriti, or association with Prakriti, or connection with Dehabhimana Pashena Chiram Baddhosi Putraka. Ashtavakra Samhita also says, Bodhoham Jnanagadgena Tannikritya Sukhi Bhava. You are bound with a rope tightly called Dehabhiman. I am the body. I am the body, I am the mind, I am Aadhaar number, I am designation, I am money, I am this, I am that. The more you are tied up into all this, the more misery you are going to face. So, bodha, realization, jnana, is the sword with which you should cut this rope into pieces. Bodhoham jnana khatgena nikritya sukhi bhava. So be happy. So friends, this course is being delivered not just for namesake, but for aiming at achieving moksha, how to be free from misery, from sorrow. And all the sorrows are in three categories. And the science of Sankhya Darshana, started with analyzing the sorrows and categories of sorrows and why it is happening. It is happening due to Prakriti, nature, attractions, processes, qualities, and trends and traits. Whereas I am being the Purusha, I am not part of Prakriti nor associated with Prakriti nor entangled with Prakriti. I am free. Shivoham. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not any one of these things, which are their products, byproducts. Naham deho ne indriyanyantarangam nahankara pranavargo na buddhi Tarapatya kshetra vittadi dura sakshi Ditya pratyagatma shivoham. I am blissful. Shiva means blissful. I am free. I am already nitya muktaha. Already permanently liberated. Who is getting liberated? Nobody is getting liberated. His self, Atma, Purusha is already liberated. Brahman is already liberated. By the false identification, association, connection, linkage with Prakriti, the Purusha is assuming the experiences of Sukha Dukkhas. Primarily, the problem is with Dukkhas. So, the secret of liberation is to be detached. Satsangatve Nisangatvam, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Muktihi, Nischalatatvam Gaganakaraha, Vadhuta also says. You can reach that stage which is like Samadhi, nothingness, transcendence, then you are liberated. Instantly you are already on this spot. In fact, in Ashtavakra Samhita, Janaka asks us, I want instant liberation. Yadi deham pratakritya chiti visramya tishtasi adunaiva sukhi shanto bandhamukto bhavishyati. Right now you can be liberated if you separate yourself from your body and mind and all this equipment which you have carried. burden which you are carrying with you. Chiti Vishramya Tishtasi. Chit, pure conscious. If you can be well established, take rest, be settled in pure consciousness. Adhunaiva Sukhi Shanto. Right now you will become happy, peaceful, and Bandhamukto Bhavishyati. You will be liberated from all the bondings and bondages which are causing misery. So all the darshanas are aiming at moksha. Even Buddha, Jaina darshanas are aiming at moksha. They understand yoga, they interpret yoga in their philosophy, but not accept Ishvara or God. That is the only difference. And therefore not accept the authority of the Vedas. Because Vedas are theistic. They accept the existence of the Supreme Being or God. Now, without knowing what is God, the Abrahamic religions will paint, or even in some of the Hindu denominations, paint a very confusing or difficult picture. So that is where the problem exaggerates, when they become fanatic and they become violent and wars are held. And what is going on today, the war between Israel and Iran, or the war in Gaza Strip, is based on religious differences. Ultimately, though it is political, though it is territorial, the religious difference is that the Jews, who are the oldest in the three Abrahamic religions, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, do not accept the later religions of Abrahamic religions, that is Christianity and Islam, because they are later developments. Christianity is based upon declaring Jesus as the savior of the Jews, which the Jews never accepted in the beginning when this thought was floated by Paul, and even today the Jews don't accept. Now Islam is one step further. In addition to Jesus, Muhammad was being projected as the Messiah, messenger, which the Christians and Jews both do not accept. So it is a very serious conflict leading to even big wars like which you see today. Iran has bombed Israel. Israel says it will bomb Iran. So before that, there was war at Gaza Strip for days and weeks and months. Thousands of people are dying. It's so strange. People die for ideas which they don't understand. The philosophy of Supreme Being is not understood by almost all the people who are indulging in war. They don't understand what is spirituality, what is Godhead, what is Dharma, nothing. But they will fight big wars. So friends, inside ourselves also we have a lot of problems. That is Adhyatmika Dukkhas, and we have physical problems, and we have natural problems. So all this can be overcome if you establish yourself, and with a strong realization, a conviction that you are the pure consciousness, Purusha, unaffected by the Prakriti. So this is the Sankhya philosophy. In Yoga Darshana, which we'll be covering anyway in detail, a lot of practical procedures are given in terms of how to contemplate, how to remain repose. For example, sitting in meditation for a long time, being cut off from everything, being in yourself. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe avastha. We'll cover anyway in detail, but today I'll touch upon. Yoga is defined as the cutting off or stealing off, stopping the modifications of the mind, chitta vrittis, the upheavals and vibrations and modifications inside the mind. So yoga chitta vritti nirodha tada, if done so, drashtu swarupe avastha. At that time, you are in your own true nature. Swarupa. Drashta, observer, he is in his own true nature. Otherwise, what happens? Vritti sarupya mitara. All other times, he is identifying himself with the thoughts of the mind. Thought of the mind says, I am so and so. then he will think, I am the body, he think I am the body. He will say, I am designation, I am designation. So the false castle scenario which the mind builds. Mind is a big force. The greatest cheat on this earth is the mind itself. And this mind, manovai gaganakaram, manovai sarvato mukham, Avadhuta Gita says, this mind is the form of everything. It assumes all forms. What you see as objects of reality in the universe are nothing but forms of your mind. So if you stop the mind, nothing is, everything gone, and you are in yourself. It is not just deep sleep, it is something more deeper than deep sleep. We have seen in the Mandukya Upanishad how the deep sleep is only one of the states. The Jagrada Avastha is another state, the dream state is another state. So if you can be established in your own true nature, which is Swarupa, through the yoga's Chittavritti Nirodha, that is stalling the movements, vibrations in the mind. Just to be still. Then you are in yourself. Otherwise, you are lost into the world of Maya, created by your own mind. Actually, mind does not exist. Because when your mind thoughts are stopped, there is no mind. You are in yourself. There cannot be any better happiness and peace. Prashantamanasam hyenam yoginam sukham uttamam. Best happiness, pleasure is having calmed mind. Atmasthaha yogaha, being in his own self. So how to do that? The procedures are how to control your breath, to calm the breath. If the breath is calm, the mind is calm. Mind is calm, breath is calm. Vice versa. And breath is connected to the body on side and it's connected to the mind on the side. Between the mind and body, breath is prana. So pranayama, breath control, breath regulation is described. Before that, the asana, the body, kaya suddhi, it's called kaya siddhi. How to make the body fit enough to be able to perform pranayama, to perform dhyana, and how to make the body healthy. So that is yoga darshan, which has both Raja Yoga and Hatha Yoga. So Sankhya and Yoga. Yoga is a practical dimension because Yoga also mentions about the same Prakriti and Purusha framework which is given in the Sankhya darshan. So the entire Vedic taxonomy vocabulary, taxonomy, ontology, comprising of things. It's all well connected. Please understand the Vedic literature is well integrated. It's not independent from each other component. All components are well integrated with the totality. So the Sankhya and Yoga we have covered. Now we will touch upon Nyaya and Vaiseshika. We will go deeper into Vaiseshika, on which I wrote a book. Basically, Nyaya Darshana is, we will touch upon it, is logic, that is Pramana, Prameya. The universe which you see, you are the observer. You are observing the universe. The universe comprises of many objects. So the observation which you make can be provable in terms of mechanisms, knowledge acquisition, Diksha Pramana. For example, you are seeing directly, you are here, you are able to smell, you are able to touch. That is Indriya Samsarga. Pratyaksha Pramana. Seeing is believing, that kind. Not necessarily always. It has got limitations. You can be cheated, fooled. Nothing is there in a movie, but everything appears to be there. The same way, the moon appears to be of poppet size to your eyes. Is that true? No. So whatever appears to the senses, the pratyaksha pramana, has its own constraints or limitations. So then we have to resort to what is called inference or deduction. And that is called anumana pramana. Pratyaksha, anumana, and shabda are also known as agama. But there are subjects which cannot be understood either by direct observation, pratyaksha, or even by anumana or inference. It is not possible. So such subjects are covered under what is called shabda pramana. That means you have to depend on shabda, that is referential knowledge. Somebody told like this, you don't know exactly, cannot know. So you don't know what is behind the wall, but somebody is telling there is a donkey behind the wall, or somebody else may be telling monkey behind the wall. So you cannot see, you cannot infer, you start depending upon others. There are subjects which cannot be seen, cannot be inferred also. Like what happens after death, whether the soul gets reincarnated, whether God exists. These questions cannot be answered by direct observation or pratyaksha pramana on one side, and they cannot be inferred also based on the sensory perceptions. So that is why Vedasya Vedata, pratyaksha anumana, those topics which cannot be approached through pratyaksha and anumana, they can be approached by the Veda or Shabda Pramana or Apta Vakya, it is also known. It's also known as Agam. That is, there is some other source who is Apta, that means is your friend, is like your mother or father, is your friend, he is not your enemy. He is your friend, well-wisher, he will not cheat you or he will not mislead you. He may have some knowledge of information, something which you cannot observe. Like, for example, what happened when before you are born. Only your father, mother can tell you. So, Aptavakya, Shabda Pramana, Agama Pramana, these are the different words. So, three major pramanas which are mentioned in the Yoga Sutras as well. Then we also have other pramanas like Upama, comparison, similarity. Then we have Arthapatti, and so the different pramanas exist in the Nyaya Darshana, and in Mimamsa Darshana some more exist. So the Pramana Shastra, Nyaya Darshana is Pramana Shastra, and Vaisheshika is Prameya Shastra, the object of those observations, the objects, the ontology of the universe, like the Dravyas, Gunas, Karmas, Prithivyapas, Tejo, Vaira, Akashadik, Karmana, Dravyani. We'll cover Vaisheshika separately, maybe tomorrow or third day. So the things which exist as a classification of ontology, the Dravya, Guna, Karma, that is all described in the Vaisheshika. Nyaya Vaisheshikas are well integrated. The Nyaya Pramanas are used in Vaisheshika Darshana, and Vaisheshika ontology is taken as granted in the Nyaya Darshana, but though it doesn't deal much, it talks about the same thing. So the first sutra of Nyaya Darshana says, by understanding the Nyaya Padarthas, that is substances of Nyaya Darshana, Pramana, Prameya, and so on and so on and so on. And even the other Pramanas, Pachaksha, Anumana, Agamartha, and also the syllogism, hypothesis, argument, Vada, Jalpa, Vitanda. So different postulates, hypothetical postulates, proof of the hypothesis, propositional logic, all that is covered in Nyaya Darshana. And what is interesting is that philosophers like Adi Shankaracharya were great logicians. They use the logic to prove something. So the proof of the Advaita Vedanta is brought out of Nyaya Pramanas, Nyaya Darshana Pramanas. Not only for Advaita Vedanta, even for jurisprudence, for courts, same Nyaya Darshana. That's why they're called Nyaya Sthana. Those arguments, proofs, hypothesis, evidence, argument, all that is given in detail in the Nyaya Darshana by who has written Nyaya Darshana? Gautama Muni. We say Gautami Express, we take and go to Kakinada, right? So we know that Godavari has a name called Gautami. Why? Because Gautama Rishi lived in that area and he did a lot of things to Godavari. That's why it is known as Gautami. And he didn't belong to this place. He belonged to Bihar, Chapra region. He came from Bihar to Andhra, Godavari bank and lived there. He might have written these sutras after he came to Godavari banks. So the Nyaya Sutras of Gautama are very famous. And the Nyaya Darshana continued its uninterrupted lineage for thousands of years, particularly in places like Bengal and even all over India. Finally, in the recent centuries, is what is called Navya Nyaya, a new logic which came out of the old logic, which continued in Bengal till today, continues in the Guru Shishya Parampara. So Navya Nyaya is found to be very useful for computer science, artificial intelligence, in terms of a statement and the proof, a formal declaration of a statement. So these techniques are used in the analysis and Viksha.
Babu, the connection is gone. Recording has to be stopped.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you now.
Yeah, there was some call coming, that's why.
Okay.
So Anvikshaki is another name given for Nyaya Darshana, which is nothing but Nyaya Darshana. The word Anvikshaki means Anu Ikshaki, that is microscopic analysis. So analysis of things is called Nyaya and also Mimamsa in a slightly different way. The Mimamsa comes into picture for the Vedic Karmakanda using the Nyaya Pramanas and adding some more Pramanas. So the Mimamsa Darshana has other Pramanas. So I have touched upon all the 6 Darshanas. Now I will go deeper into other Darshanas later. So for the time being, the 6 Darshanas have been touched upon. As I told, all the 6 are aiming at one same moksha as the goal. Now can we open up for discussion?
Okay, ధన్యవాదములండి. Now the platform is open for discussion or question answers. Please raise your hand. Anybody wants to ask any question on today's topic? Not many questions.
You can ask yourself.
Sorry, sir.
You can also ask questions.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask can you cover this Charvaka Darshana?
Okay, now Charvaka is a philosopher. So what he was trying to say is what is called materialism. There are two things, dialectical materialism and hedonism. Both are combined. Hedonism means drink, dance, and enjoy. I don't have to explain you what it is. You can see on every weekend and every year end what people do. Just drink, dance, and enjoy. That is called hedonism. Materialism is you acquire money, you acquire property, you acquire things, you acquire everything and then feel great about it. Now, the moksha in Charvaka's Darshana is also there. It's only death. So when death comes, he says that is moksha. So till then, you drink, dance, and enjoy. Pranam krutva kritam piba. Take loans and enjoy life. That is basically the Charvaka philosophy.
Okay.
So
There's
there is
one-
no, I saw that. Yeah, there is no scope for any moksha other than death in Charvaka. We know, we see most people are like that only. It's not a new concept. We can see everybody doing that way. They know only one thing, how to enjoy life, and they think by death you will be liberated. Death itself is moksha. And no discussion about past life, present life, future life, reincarnation. No need for God. No need for anything else. That is the Charvaka. Okay?
So, who are these people who are following that? Or everybody? Almost.
So everybody is doing that only. Materialism, hedonism. So they are Nastikas, they don't accept God. Bauddhas are also Nastikas, Jainas are also Nastikas. Charvaka, Loka. In fact, Jabali advises Rama. When Rama was going to forest. Jabali does what? Why are you going to forest? What father? What promise? All bullshit. Just put your father in prison and become the king. This is what Jabali told Rama. But Rama was very, 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 you know what is Rama, right? So he went to forest just because his father asked him to go. And his father died later anyway. He would have come back and taken, but no. So it all depends on the people. So the Charvaka is dialectical materialism, hedonism. They don't accept karma, siddhanta, they don't accept rebirth, they don't accept God, they don't accept moksha.
So, Charvaka followers, they get pleasure or anandam by following the materialistic or heroistic activities. So, ultimately, anandam is the Brahmana. Maybe
No, that is not, that word anandam is being misused by you right now. What they get is not anandam, but they get pleasure. They only get sensory pleasures, not ananda. Ananda is different. So the sensory pleasures, for example, eating ice cream. Everybody gets sensory pleasure if you eat ice cream, correct? Now what will happen if you eat ice cream at the wrong time, at the wrong place, say in winter, it will get cough, cold, all those things. Even that ice cream, even in summer, it's giving you pleasure, not anandam, but pleasure, sukha. So this anandam, which is coming out of eating ice cream, is it permanent? Is it going to be recurring? Suppose you eat one more ice cream. Okay, first ice cream you ate and you feel it is very happy feeling you are getting. So you eat one more ice cream. This time the happiness is reducing. Third time you eat, fourth time you eat, fifth time you eat, then finally you don't find any pleasure or happiness in eating ice cream. You get disgusted. Can you eat 15 ice creams? You get disgusted. So similarly, with many things in life, for example, hunger, you get a lot of satisfaction, pleasure, happiness when you eat food when you are hungry. At the moment you eat food, next 5 minutes you cannot eat again food. You cannot go on eating food and go on feeling happy. It is over. So all the sensory pleasures have temporary transitory existence. Yes or no?
Yes.
So all these followers of Charvaka, Lokayata, and all these friends whom you refer to, they have to accept that their pleasure, sukha, is very temporary. It has got limitation. And dukkha is going to come immediately after that. Because sukha, dukkha follow each other, right? You can't have only sukha all the time. You may, just for the fun of it, for a few minutes, or maximum 15 minutes, you may get some enjoyment, pleasure, not anand. So we are talking of a higher philosophy. In fact, there is a book called Darshnas Samuchaya by Madhava, the brother of Sayana, where all these 24 philosophies are described in detail. So the break, the falsehood of the materialism, hedonism can easily be shown. You know, for example, on 31st December night, you can see maximum people drinking, dancing, and in the necklace road and all that. What will happen after that? There will be accidents, there will be deaths, there will be arrests, there will be all kinds of things happen. So similarly, drinking alcohol, people who drink, they get pleasure. But what happens if you go on drinking like that, finally? So all these sukhas, indriya sukhas they are called, they are short-living, temporary, and they also cause damage. Like drugs, those who take drugs, even alcohol is a drug. And higher drugs are there, like cocaine and brown sugar and LSD and so on. They feel great pleasure. According to this logic, which you mentioned just now, drugs also should be encouraged because you are getting higher pleasure than drinks. Drinks, okay, you get some pleasure, but drugs get much higher pleasure. So that's why people take drugs. Everybody takes drugs, except the people who are attending this course. All others, like all film stars, politicians, youth in pubs, drinking is like water and drug is like actual kick. Throughout the world, what will happen when you take drugs? Finally, tell me. You will die. Either you will be arrested or you will get neurotic disorders. Because these are all harmful things. So nobody, no fool will support, no fool will support these kind of pleasures. So the Charvaka philosophy is short-lived, short-sighted, and has to be missed. Okay?
Okay. I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
Actually, this doubt which I asked is for just generating a discussion, but I know that that is different and this is different. Now, another one is the Nyaya Darshana. How does it get moksha?
No, what they mean is that by having the capability to prove something as a final truth, that is by knowing the Nyaya Padarthas, you get moksha. That is Pramana, Prameya, Jalpa, Jalpa, Vitanda, all the entire the body of Nyaya Darshana. Because it will apply those processes, procedures, on everything. See, moksha means freedom. Freedom means, you see, freedom from bondage, dukkha. So you are getting all the dukkha's, all the bondages because you are in delusion. You are doing the wrong things. Like just now we discussed this. This itself is an example. We made a proposition that, drink, dance and enjoy Charvaka philosophy is good enough. But then after few minutes of analysis, we conclude that it is not good enough. We dismiss it. So similarly drugs, according to Charvaka theory, taking drugs, including alcohol, is enough. That itself is heaven. And then death is liberation. We proved that is wrong. And also there is enough evidence that there is previous life and next life. There are so many researches done and so many evidence exist that we have a previous life and we also have a next life. So the whole thing goes for a toss. Similar, all this is nothing but analysis, right? So the analytical processes, proof processes, are fundamental requirement for achieving enlightenment and moksha. That is why Darshnas says this is the way forward to achieve moksha. Okay?
Yeah. Ramesh, he unmuted himself. He may be wanting to ask a
Clear it.
question.
There are two
No,
questions
that's
on the chat box. Let me read
Okay.
them.
Okay.
What is the position, role of Purusha in Sankhya? Why does it not accept God?
Because in the Sankhya perspective, there is no God required. Purusha means the self, I. Which is same thing as told as God later in Vedanta Darshana, in Yoga Darshana. So, with certain conditions. The only difference between me and God are certain conditions. Otherwise, it's the same thing. I cannot create, I cannot sustain, I cannot perform the functions which Ishvara performs. But otherwise, the consciousness in me and in the God is the same. That is the whole idea of Tattvamasi, I am Atma, Brahma, all these Vedanta stuff. So, even limiting yourself to Sankhya, you can achieve moksha because you realize that you are Purusha, not Prakriti, and you are not connected with Prakriti. What is the objective of each? Freedom, liberation from bondings. Bondings are coming due to your entanglement with Prakriti. So, if you are cut off, if you get disconnected, that is all process of yoga, meditation. What is all this? Nothing but stilling the mind. Mind is the linkage between you and Prakriti. Purusha is nothing but you, I, man. Prakriti means nature. I am not nature. I am not part of nature. I am not associated with nature. I am not linked to nature. I am independent. The moment you realize this, you are liberated. So there is no need for God. God is an agency which is you only, but with certain extra powers. Virodhana, Anugraha, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, all those capabilities which you don't have. But the essence is Aham. That's why in the Gita he said, Aham Atma Gudagesha, Sarva Bhuta Vyavasthita. I am the self of all. Chimalo, Brahmalo, Shiva Keshavadulalalo, Prema Mira Nindi Undedima. The same self is there in an amoeba and or even in Chaturmukha Brahma or even in Shiva and Keshava. The self is the same. The light is the same, but the potency is different. It's a microscopic thing, that is a megascopic. So that pure consciousness is Purusha. Okay?
Okay.
The
The
next
next
question.
question is, can it be said that scientific temperament is Vaiseshika Darsana?
Yes, it is not just scientific temperament, it is physics. It talks of motion, it talks of properties, it talks of states of matter. In my book, I have shown all those things. Physics is the most exact science, and Vaisheshika is physics. And there he says you by understanding physical nature, physical world. Dravya guna karma, samanya vishesha samayanam, adardhanam sadharmya vaidharmyabhyam tattvajnanam nisres. By your understanding of the substances, their motions, and their properties, and their interactions, and their similarity, dissimilarity, and their including things like forces and energy and so on, you get moksha. Because through physics you can get moksha, right? What is finally, I told you the other day on the first day of my lecture. Ultimately, I explained to you the Advaita Vedanta through physics. That's what he does in Vaisheshika, in one way or the other. So each one has a different approach to the same freedom moksha. Yeah, next question.
What is purpose of life?
Good question. The purpose of life is to get liberation. If you are not liberated, you will be born again. And you are not sure what you will be born again. This time you are born like this, but you don't know what will happen next time. It is a function of your entire karma of this life and past lives. So if you are not born again, you are liberated. If you are born again, you will again start this whole process. It's very difficult. We are all suffering in day in and day out, right? Janma dukkham, jara dukkham, jaya dukkham, punah punah, samsaram sagaram dukkham. What is there in this samsara? It is an ocean of problems and miseries. Tell me anybody who doesn't have any problem. I had a servant in my quarters in Delhi. So one day she brought one pamphlet. The pamphlet is written that all problems will be solved if you pay 600 rupees to that fellow who is claiming. So she asked me, will you solve my problem? And what was her problem? Her problem was money. Her husband was working as a peon in some hospital and he gets 6,000 rupees. I gave a house freely. And they had to run the family with 6,000 rupees. Is not adequate, so you want to get more money. So she's asking me, will he solve my problem if I pay him that money which he's asking? Then I told her, see, your problem is only money. You don't have adequate money. But I have other problems. I have money, but I have many bigger problems. Like I was fighting a court case there for my promotion as DG. Finally, I won and I became DG. Director General. But I was fighting a court case. I was going daily to court. How much mental tension I was having. How much worry I was having. At the same time, I told her Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister. How many problems he has? He has all bodyguards around him. If the bodyguards are not there, he will be killed immediately. He doesn't know how long he will live. He doesn't know how long his post will be there and how long his life will be there. And he is subordinate to our bosses, his bosses in Congress party. So many problems. So everybody has problems. Narendra Modi, you mean to say he doesn't have a problem? Everybody thinks Narendra Modi is Superman, right? Or God incarnate. After Rama and Krishna, it is Narendra Modi. But what is he doing right now? How many problems he has? So yesterday, one stone was pelted on Jagan's head. Jagan is the CM. And immediately many hundred stones pelted on Chandrababu Naidu. What is happening here? So the life is full of problems. The purpose of life is to overcome problems. That's why he said in Sankhya Darshana very first sentence, Trivida Dukkha Nivrittira Chanta Purushartha. Your capability as a human being, Purushartha, your human endeavor effort should be to overcome all your miseries and the problems. That's what we are doing all the time. But are we overcoming? We have so many problems. We create our own problems. When there is no problem, you will immediately create your own. You don't want to be without problems. What people are doing are nothing but creating problems which don't exist. What is happening in Israel? What is happening in Gaza? What is happening in Ukraine? Are they poor people? Are they having any financial problems? Why are they doing all this? So friends, it's a massive thing. So we are in samsara, which is a sagaram dukkham. It is an ocean of miseries and problems. So all the philosophies are trying to solve these problems in their own way. The six darshanas and even the Nastic darshanas, Buddha, Jaina, Charvaka, in their own way. But they have their limitations. Of course, Charvaka way also is valid. Like, the other day, I saw people, I went with my family to eat ice cream. To enjoy for 5 minutes, it will work. After that, what will happen? So sleep, deep sleep, it will be the best pleasure, happiness. After that, you wake up. Then the problem starts again. Now, there is no end to this. The problems keep on coming. I don't have to tell you, right? Is there anybody here who doesn't have any problem? Raise your hand. Okay, next.
No questions in the chat box.
No.
Okay,
no
it will
problem.
be
One more question అండి సార్ 24 కాంపోనెంట్స్ చెప్పారు కదండి the world is made up of 24 components మళ్ళీ can you just repeat what those
Yeah, the
components
last
are?
24th is Purusha. The rest is all Prakriti. The Panchabhutas, Panchendriyas, Panchatanmatras, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, and finally is Mahat. What is called Mahat? That is the total from which everything came. So, you can see any book, it will give you this big list. That is why the name Sankhya came numbers, based on number, categorization. So, the entire creation on one side, the gross creation, subtle creation, then even going subtler and subtler to Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, and then Mahat, finally Purusha. Purusha is the independent body. The rest is Prakriti. So Prakriti, Purusham, Cheva, Vidya. So the same Purusha is being explained as Atma, God, Ishvara, Brahman in other darshanas. And same Prakriti is explained everywhere as terms like Maya or Shakti and so on. So it is basically the jugglery of words and numbers. It starts with Sankhya and the same thing is being extended further and further and further, all the way up to Vedanta Darshana, the Brahman Maya concept. So the Shad Darshanas are aiming at the same philosophical analysis and understanding of nature. So let us close here. Okay.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Prabhu Garu. You will be covering tomorrow Nyaya Darshana or session?
I'll check. I'll see.
Okay.
Maybe Vaiseshika will cover.
Vaisheshika, okay. Now let's go for Prarthana then. Jayashree Garu.
Yes. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ता न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहेशाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्रः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. సర్వే జనా సుఖినో భవంతు. స్వస్తి. ధన్యవాదాలండి.
ధన్యవాదములండి. Thank you so much. Now let's go for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद.
Jai Hind. ధన్యవాదములండి చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు.